I hate self-care and how we talk about it nowadays. Um, I actually don't hate self-care. It's more the conversations that I keep hearing about it and how that is really toxic and undermines all of us. We're just freaking trying to take care of ourselves. So I'm going to talk about that today, and I'm also going to give some tips for some actual healthy and balanced self-care. Hi, my name is Ria. I'm Hopeforge, and I create videos and online information about research-based ways to make your life, career, and more healthy, more balanced, and help you get to your goals. So, self-care. There are all kinds of crazy conversations that are going on about it nowadays. And part of that is because the whole wellness industry has become this multi-billion-dollar industry that it is in many companies' best interests to push certain conversations and narratives on. So a lot of times you'll see companies where they will have some kind of really slick advertising that makes it pretty clear that if you buy their thing, whatever that thing is, your life is going to be so much better. There are these subliminal messages that just say, you get this face mask, you get this spa treatment, you get this Corvette, whatever it is, and your life, all of your pain, it is going to maybe not be healed, but you're going to have a lot less pain. It's going to be great, and people are going to envy you, right? So that's one side of the conversation. The other is so many people where they're basically are like, fuck face masks, fuck Corvettes, fuck capitalism, all of that is garbage, and that is not self-care. That will not help you that will not help you feel better. That will not make your life better. It is empty and hollow and capitalist and blah, 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 blah. So you have these two sides of the conversation where you have one side where there is a money aspect, but a lot of people are clearly taking joy in their spa treatments, face masks, and Corvettes. And then you have the other side of people who are like, that is all empty. And, they're a bit holier than thou, a little bit extreme, but also there is a point. So what's in the center? Like, how do we balance this out? Because self-care actually is important. There is a reason why you have this massive industry that is built on it. And it actually all comes down to two concepts from psychology that are called hedonic and eudaimonic happiness. So I know I'm going into terms, and hopefully this is not, it looks like it's reversed. If it is reversed, I apologize. First time using a whiteboard, I will put this in the notes. So hedonic happiness and hedonic tactics towards happiness are specifically pleasure seeking and pain avoiding. So what does that look like? Well, going back to our discussion of like awesome things, totally shallow, well, it's the awesome things part of the equation. When you are engaging in hedonic tactics towards happiness, what that means is you are specifically seeking pleasure and trying to feel better in the moment. And you're trying to avoid pain, which, I mean, yeah, if you're on this side, you could be like, well, that's really shallow and you gotta face your pain. No, that's bullshit. Sometimes you need to make yourself feel better, and sometimes you need to just like get away from the pain for a bit. None of us can survive navel gazing and just like fixating on all of the things that we feel bad about. It's just unhealthy, right? We have to make short-term actions and decisions to make ourselves feel better. And that's where hedonic tactics to self-care are so incredibly useful and important. Because take, for example, you are having a bad day or a bad week. Maybe there was a death of someone that you loved. Maybe you had challenges at a job and you were written up. Maybe you're having financial issues. Maybe you have chronic depression, or you've got situational depression because a lot of little things piled up. Whatever it is, first, I want to say real and valid. Don't let anyone undermine that. But secondly, we often know the things that make us feel better. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes, yeah, you want that fucking face mask. You want to throw that face mask on, Or if it's me, have that pint of Ben and Jerry's, not sponsors, chubby hubby, right in your lap, just like, like a hand to mouth. And maybe watching a dumb movie or playing video games. Um, and doing things that will in the moment make you feel better and will dull the pain. These are good short-term tactics. We fall back on them because they work. So it's important to have this in your toolkit. Hedonic tactics are good when they are used appropriately. It's like anything that is a tool. You use it appropriately and it's great. So that's one side of the equation, right? When you are feeling badly and you need something to get you through in the moment, especially when it's in the moment, sometimes to get ourselves to that next moment and that next day, to be able to get out of bed, we have to stay in bed for a little bit, right? And self-care can look like curling up with a book and just avoiding the world. But that doesn't work forever. So the other side of the equation is eudaimonia or eudaimonic happiness and eudaimonic tactics to our well-being. And specifically, eudaimonic tactics are goal setting, and they specifically focus on contentment versus pleasure.
So what's the difference? Well, I can tell you that the amount of sheer pleasure that spikes through my body when I have a pint of Ben & Jerry's is just amazing. I feel so good, right? But there is a but to this. But if I were to have a pint of Ben & Jerry's for just one meal every single day for the next month, not only would it be a recipe for weight gain, but I can tell you after having just one Ben & Jerry's, I would feel gross. There's sometimes too much is too much. So what you're doing with eudaimonic tactics towards well-being is you're specifically looking at things that will make you content over the course of your life. And you're setting long-term goals to help you achieve that contentment and the values that mean the most to you. So what does this look like? Because I know that hedonic tactics are actually a lot easier to look at because it's like, well, as a hedonic tactic, I like to binge shop, you know what I mean? Or I like to go for a walk. Well, there can be overlap, but there also can be a strong difference. So for eudaimonic strategies, not tactics, because strategies are long-term, tactics are short-term. For eudaimonic strategies, you want to think about what your values are. So as an example, you might say, well, one of my goals in life is to have a family. I want a family. I want to have a family and kids, right? That's a pretty common goal for a lot of people. Not everyone, but a lot, right? You don't stop there. No. What does that family look like to you? What does it look like in terms of the relationships? What kinds of things do you want to empower and create? So maybe it's, I want to have a family with children who are resilient and can thrive in any situation and who are happy and well-adjusted for the most part, right? And I want my partner to feel valued and listened to and have a partner who will do the same for me. And so that's very simple when it comes down to it. And those are feelings, but you can use those to guide your actions. And if you're like, all right, well, if I want my kids to be well-adjusted and content, then what does that actually look like in practice? And so you set these long-term goals with your values, and then you build different ways to get to them through, like, as you learn and grow different courses of action. So you've got your long-term goals. And when you're looking at eudaimonic strategies to happiness, you think, all right, these are the goals that are really meaningful, that will bring contentment and fulfillment to my life if I can achieve them. How do I get there? So a good example is physical health. For me personally, despite my love of ice cream, I know that I actually want to live, I joke about it, I want to live to be 115. And I want, my grandma is my hero, and she is 96, and she is like the Energizer Bunny, a tank. She keeps going. She actually, when she is out at museums and other places, she actually exhausts my mom and I because she just keeps going, right? So she's my hero. I want to be her. That is a eudaimonic goal that I know will bring me contentment. She's also very healthy. So how do I get there? Well, when I think about hedonic tactics,
I know that I can't overindulge on the Ben and Jerry's, right? Because I will not be an Energizer Bunny at 96, let alone 115, if I am just rolling over pints and pints of Ben and Jerry's, right? I have to use that hedonic tactic in balance. So I think about other tactics that will work to get me through. My dog Marshall is a total sweetheart, and he and I sometimes go on walks. So when I'm feeling down, I will often take him for a walk with me. And so I balance things out where I'm like, all right, well, every so often I'll get this hedonic treat of a Ben and Jerry's pint, but then I'm going to take Marshall on a walk and I'm going to breathe in the air, right? If you're financially struggling and you have a long-term goal where you need financial security to be able to do things, and I mean, let's be real, most of us really need financial security, then binge shopping is not a good tactic. But if every so often as one of your special tactics to make you feel better, you will buy something like, I like to buy little plants. It is a problem I have, you see, plants. There are more of them, so many more. My partner's gonna kill me someday. Get yourself something small. So I'm not going out and I'm not buying like gigantic ficus trees that cost $200, but a $3 succulent, that's something where every so often if I'm feeling down, then my partner knows when they come home and they're like, oh, we see what you did there, right? So with eudaimonic wellness and well-being, you're focusing on what will bring you long-term contentment, what is in line with your values. And our values do evolve over time, so just thinking about what your values are and what's important to you, right? And then thinking about like your goals and the different ways you can get there and using them together with hedonic well-being and wellness self-care tactics. It's like a yin and yang. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, it's like a yin and yang, but in this case, it really is. You're not going to be able to get to your overall contented and fulfilled place without every so often, or even very often, taking advantage of your hedonic tactics. Because here's the thing about hedonic tactics, right? They are band-aids for ourselves and for our wounds and for our wellness. And as everyone knows, band-aids and bandages, they really do freaking help. They keep out additional infections. They will help, especially if you put like additional healing lotions on, they will help hasten the speed of your recovery. Now, at the end of the day, it is your body's own healing processes and your white blood cells that are going to actually get any wounds to heal, but band-aids help. So just because you have this crazy capitalist narrative that a lot of people are going about doesn't mean they don't work. You just can't completely rely on them to do all the healing. That would be like covering your entire body in band-aids and then waiting to feel better, right? So hopefully that makes things more clear about self-care and well-being and the importance of having both kinds of self-care that people often, talk about and say one is better than the other when it's really not. And if you are interested in more information that is science-based and helps you be better and do better, with balance and wellness in your life, please click on the subscribe button. And if you are interested in 15, okay, I only have 10 fingers. If I had another hand, I would have put the third hand up. But 15 strategies to flip your mindset from negative to positive that are research-based, then also click on a different link below and it will take you to my free ebook that has, 15 ways that you can get yourself out of a sort of downward spiral, negative, pessimistic mindset and start pulling yourself back up again. All right, talk to you later.